Hi, this is Mangione, and welcome to another edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Disappointing. Now, this week was actually another tough week because there were a couple other books that really were vying for my attention, but ultimately I went with Rick Remender's Winter Soldier. Now, why did I like this issue the most? Well, it was kind of nostalgia for me. And by that I mean what we didn't have is, we had Nick Fury, and it wasn't the Lawrence Fishburne I'm sorry, Samuel Jackson Nick Fury. This is the good old Nick that we know and love before Marvel movies took over and changed a classic character forever. Now, basically, what's going on here is this. You have Nick, he's infiltrating a Hydra base with another agent. They're trying to extract some scientists out. Everything's going well until they meet Winter Soldier. So this is basically, even before Winter Soldier is technically a good guy. So that's what I really liked about this, is because we got a peek at the past. We got to see some classic characters in action. I thought the art was really good. You had some death in here too, which was good. And the art just fit for me at least, it fit the theme, the setting. It just seemed everything to work really well. Now, I'm not sure in terms of the long haul how well I'm going to enjoy it, but at least for right now, it was an interesting way of seeing Bucky as this enigma of death. That if he was there, you knew you were going to be in some serious trouble and probably die. So that's what I'm really curious to see, how Remender's going to deal with that side of Winter Soldier's story. And I know if there's anybody that can do that, Remender's the type of writer who isn't afraid to take some chances, and we could actually get to see something pretty spectacular. So that is why that is my good. The bad. Okay, Wolverine and the X-Men. This book just needs to finally be put out to pasture. It was good at the start, and Aaron had a nice little run, and he kind of, I'd like to look at it as he got lost along the way. He put some bad storylines in here, and then at times he tried to recoup, and it's just not working. Now, for me, I'm going, okay, this could have been actually a fairly decent chapter, because what you have is you have Toad. He's being kicked out of the academy, his job, because he sided against the students and got some, he sided against basically the X-Men, and he did it all for love. And Paige, is proven to be, well, she's a psychotic person, that her personality changes when she rips apart her skin. And so Toad's confused, his emotions are confused, and I feel bad for him. And all of that part was really, I thought, was handled well. Then we got, well, look at this, there's an emergency, so he's going to try to redeem himself. And Toad actually does a fairly good job at redeeming himself, in the sense of he shows that he can actually fight, but again, he's fighting against Hellfire Club kids, so it's not like he's fighting against, like Sinister or Apocalypse or somebody like that, Sabretooth. But this is the part that just made me go, you have got to be freaking kidding me. See, the thing is, Paige here admits, you know what, I have some issues. I was another person when I was changing, ripping my skin off, and, I had my different husks. And she's getting help from the Hank, which I'm like, okay, that part makes sense. But then at the very end, yeah, you see it right there. She is in this, at a point, make a meeting thing with one of the Hellfire Club kids, and she's crying because she realizes the kid's talking about Toad, and she feels so bad about the situation, and the kid's like, what are you doing? Why are you crying to my story? And she's like, rip skin off. Okay, let's go. Why is she a guidance counselor? She is a psychopath. What type of idiot puts a psychopath as a guidance counselor? She should not be a teacher. She should be removed from the faculty, and she should be put under observation until she is stable. And I'm like going, okay, I get what you're trying to do here, Aaron. I understand you're trying to show a different side of her. I understand you're trying to do show that she really cares, but then yet she's a little psycho. But I'm like, you don't put her as a freaking guidance counselor. Oh man, I mean, there's already a lot of inconsistencies and chaos as it is, but really, oh, horrible, horrible book. And this is my disappointment. I just, I was all ready for a big good fight. And I mean, we get a little fight, but we get a type of fight between, Despero, or is it really Despero, versus Stargirl and the Martian Manhunter, and it's kind of like a really weak fight. Now, the part here, this part was good in a sense, but on the other hand, I'm going, dude, you're the Martian Manhunter, and you're falling like you're Bucky, like Bucky against Galactus or something, because the Martian Manhunter goes down and he goes down hard, and I'm like, that is insanity, you know, like it looks like somebody took his man card. All right, actually, what it looks like is somebody took his Martian Playboys, burned them all, and then made him like go, "What am I supposed to do?" And then they laugh. That's what like it happened to him because he just whimpered out, and he became like a wuss. And then, I understand. Okay, let's take this part away from things. And let's just focus on Stargirl for a minute. This is the type. These are the issues here where they're trying to make Stargirl into a major player, where she's going through her trial of becoming a superhero, where maybe her priorities aren't in straight. She's got to make the tough decisions, and I get that part. But to me, it seems very fake. It seems very forced, and it's like I'm like, I just feel like I've read this type of story before. And then when I get to the end, basically what it was like is this. They told imagine a comedian up on stage. He's telling a joke. He tells you the punchline and then continues the joke. And that's what they did here. And I fully realize that, yeah, I know this is comic books and certain people aren't really going to die and things are going to just they always like to put false leads and there's always something in the background. But it's like, to me, I've seen this happen so many times. I think we all have. And when a writer keeps using that kind of stuff as a crutch, and you continually see it appear over and over again in stories, and you see death that doesn't even make sense at times, or deaths that aren't even deaths because you didn't see what happened just 2 seconds after the last panel. And I'm like, it just kind of gets frustrating because they're playing with certain emotions, and they're playing with emotions in such a way where it's like, it's like, like you just imagine there's a little kid and he's got a lollipop and a balloon, and the guy doesn't take either of them. He just punches the kid in the face and watches the balloon fly away and laughs. And that's what they're kind of doing here. It's like a cheap gimmick to try to make us go, oh, look at what happened, and then you get all excited for the next issue. But I'll tell you, I'm not excited for the next issue. I don't care because I know people don't die in comic books. That's the problem, and that's what this is a huge, huge, huge disappointment. And I just wish that. I mean, even this Forever Evil. I mean, I'm gonna give Rogues um, a little prop here, in that feels like it's more a part of Forever Evil than the Justice League of America does, and that's the sad thing. And it's just, I'm just done with this thing. It's like it's just dragging on forever. I feel like these characters aren't even evolving. I mean, it's like, yeah, we know Stargirl's going to change and she's going to become this good little superhero girl. But it's like, why is it taking so freaking long? Get to the point already. You don't have to keep having her fly, 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 make decisions, fly, fly, fly. She lands at home. Oh, look at that. Everything is in disarray. Oh my gosh, my younger brother, blah, blah, blah. And she goes flying. I'm going to be a superhero now. I know what it takes. You don't know Jack. You know what I mean? You didn't go through like what Peter Parker went through. You didn't go through all that guilt and that life-changing, you know, thing that makes you go, I got to get my act together. I mean, now granted, stuff happens. but they just gloss over it so quickly. It doesn't have that emotional impact, and that's the problem. Too much time is spent on crap and not enough on the good stuff, and this is still taking far too long. Anyways, that's my good, the bad, and my disappointing. Let me know what yours is. Facebook link. I always go there, but it's always right there. Crunchyroll anime reviews. Right there. And those are free. More reviews later. Until next time.